This is 365 Sports, powered by Sikkim365.com. Welcome to the Triple Option. Here's your host, Paul Catalina.
Welcome into the Triple Option. This is a new thing we are doing here on 365 Sports, where I'm going to do an hour, and then we're going to take an hour off, and we'll go back to the main show, which I will still be a part of. I'm Paul Catalina, alongside my co-host of the day, Chris Allman. You'll see Chris a little bit here and there rotating through. We're going to have rotating guest hosts, same college football talk, maybe a little bit different format, a lot different format. As you can see, we're over here, which makes it different.
It's the big change.
Then over there, which you can't see on camera, but that's where the desk is. So, thank you, Jack. So
the analysis is over there.
Yes.
The fun is over here.
Over here in this area is different than over there. So you can think of that when you see this show each and every day, Monday through Thursday, 1 to 2 p.m. On Fridays, we're going to do something different, kind of combine everything for the main show, because I have to do, with Smokey and Craig out doing high school football, I've got to do the lion's share Fridays solo. So
yeah, you and Garrett were really good, by the way, on Friday.
Oh, thank you.
You guys.
Appreciate
really
that.
Good.
So, Chris, College Football Week 0 happened this week. We're going to talk about realignment. We're going to look ahead to, kind of the season, like who are the teams that could win national championships. We're going to talk realignment and that kind of zoo. We're also going to, in the third segment, give a very honest review of Swamp Kings.
Very honest.
A very honest review of it. And we'll also get to know Chris a little bit, and we're going to do this with all of our guest hosts. Maybe even more often than just one time.
Can you see the viewership decrease in real time? Like when you do the Get to Know You Chris segment, will Jack be able to see?
Yeah, I mean, you can. You can absolutely.
Okay. Excellent.
No, but
just don't tell me what the numbers are.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you the odds.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you the odds.
Okay,
so Chris, let's start out. USC, Notre Dame both played this weekend. They're both teams that people think are going to contend for the college football playoff, particularly USC. Caleb Williams was fantastic in his debut. We're going to hear a lot about Zachariah Branch for the next 3 years. He's a true freshman. They returned to kick for a touchdown, caught a touchdown pass. I think he ran the ball a couple times. But USC's defense, they have, Chris, what I like to call a Care Bear defense.
Okay.
Where all they do is kind of stare at you and give you self-esteem. If you don't know, Jack's our producer. Jack, are you familiar with the Care Bears? A little bit. The Care Bears, for those who don't know,
sure, I remember.
Was a cartoon in the 80s when Chris and I grew up. And it was these little bears, and all of them had like a different emblem on their belly. And when they wanted to make someone feel better, they would all get in the line, and they would say Care Bear stare, and then just emotions would beam out. That was their superpower.
Yeah.
And they would beam out, and then everything would be better. It was in the era, the first part of maybe let's let kids grow up with some self-esteem.
Sure, yeah. That's when we started coddling kids. It was about Care Bear time.
Yeah, so as opposed to maybe you need to get a job in a factory.
Yeah.
You're 7, what have you been doing with your life?
So you're saying the SC defense has a bit of a Care Bear vibe to it?
A Care Bear vibe to it, which it's not the dudes. If you go by recruiting rankings, it's maybe the system, which Lincoln Riley, this is not a new problem for him. It's not having a good defense. He didn't have good defenses at Oklahoma, cost him chances to win the national title there. So far, 1 year in at USC, the only problem they seem to have was stopping people.
Right.
And while they rolled past San Jose State, they did that on the backs of a fantastic offense, a very long kick return, and not really their defense. If you're Lincoln Riley, you're looking at this, do you start to get nervous week 0, or do you, wait and see? Because he's been riding with Alex Grinch for a few years now.
Yeah, you tell me, is there anything in Lincoln Riley's past that says he needs to go out and have a lockdown defense? I mean, I don't think if it's a personality contest to try to get votes, if they're going to go score 56 points, that looks good on TV. So you tell me, does he have to actually go and make a change? Does he need a lockdown defense to go beat Utah and win the Pac-12? Or can he win the Pac-12 and get into that playoff with this really kind of glamorous offense?
Well, and look, we only know 1 year he's only going to have 2 years of Pac-12 evidence.
That's true.
Last year and this year, and then the Pac-12's over, but not just for USC, but for the world.
Right.
But I think the proof's in the pudding, though, with Alex Grinch and him from Oklahoma on.
Yeah.
Because winning the conference, Lincoln Riley did that at Oklahoma. He didn't do it last year, but Utah did because Utah is tough. People are going to see. They play Florida. They play with or without Cam Rising. They're going to play really tough, and that's how they beat USC when they beat them last year, was out toughing them. Because, that in those moments, I think that's where USC falters, is that when you have to be just tough,
right?
Just absolutely nails tough.
There were tough OU teams defensively,
yeah.
But I don't know if there's any reason to push I think you use the word panic. I don't think there's any type of panic. I think after week 0, you were one of the very few big games being played, so the spotlight's on you. So your mistakes and your deficiencies are going to be really, really glaring. So panic button, probably not. He knows who they are. He knows where they need to get better. He's not going to make a change in week 3. So I think he's going to ride Caleb Williams as long as he can and hope that defense does enough. That seems to be the formula that's going to work for them.
Yeah. And I just think it's one of those things that they have to. They're the Pac-12. And this is the saddest thing about this upcoming season, is that the Pac-12 may be as good as it was ever going to be this year in entertaining, with USC, UCLA, Oregon, Washington, Wazoo, Oregon State, all going to be good. Utah going to be good. I don't know if Colorado's going to be good, but they're certainly interesting.
Sure, you'll watch them.
They got Deion Sanders as their coach, and this is their last year.
Right.
So everybody, like even Arizona State, we'll talk about that in a second. Arizona State imposed a bowl ban here year 1, self-imposed bowl ban. Their seniors are furious.
I would imagine. Yeah.
Because they were like, well, why didn't you just ride this out? But they're trying to get ahead of the NCAA.
Sure.
But Arizona State's interesting with Kenny Dillingham. Arizona's getting better. So outside of Cal and Stanford, who are kind of stuck in neutral, Stanford's got a new coach. Like, it's going to be a great year, and it's the last one.
I think the Pac-12 is like, if realignment is painful, like for someone like me who's a little bit old school, I'm 45 years old, I remember the Southwest Conference. If realignment is painful in general, I think the Pac-12 is the acute pain.
Yeah.
Like you talked about. Like, man, this is a really good conference. Has been historically, had some stretches where it wasn't great historically, but this last year, like you talked about, almost top to bottom. Like I've heard you talk about Oregon State. I know you're a big fan of what's going on there. So that's one of the painful things about this really acute, like, under a microscope, this Pac-12 situation stings for college football fans.
It does. And look, you could have been on either side of that fence of like, man, I hope that these teams join the conference that I like or not. But just as a football fan in general, from the 30,000-foot view, like, this is a good group of teams under the microscope of 2023. Like, outside of that, and then it's just going to be over. Like, we don't get to see any of these teams build on it in that conference.
Right.
They're going to try to build on whatever momentum they gained this year going into a new one, which even in like Texas, if Texas wins the Big 12 this year, that's great momentum for them going to the SEC.
Yeah.
But it's still a completely different thing they're about to do.
Yeah.
So can you even count it?
Yeah.
I mean, you can count it, but like, can you even think of it the same way as you would have? You won Conference A title in 2023, and you're going to try to repeat it in 2024. Well, if, say, USC and Texas win these two conferences, then no, you're going to go, it's a different thing in 2024 altogether.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a very small window this whole year where we're even really allowed to talk about football. And right, it's week 0. We're coming off a preseason where there was major realignment news. This is what we're talking about. We're not yet really talking about what's on the field, but there's going to be a very small window in there where we can actually talk about how good teams are instead of where they're leaving or where they're going. And I think, again, the Pac-12 is going to fall victim to that. We're going to have this really excellent football between the lines, but all we're going to be thinking about is, oh man, this lingering thing of like, this is the last time we're going to see this particular game or this particular rivalry game. And then, oh, I can't wait till SC and, Michigan is a conference game. And so, again, I represent the 30,000-foot view college football fan. And it sucks for all of us.
Yeah. And and we're all like, nobody's going to stop watching. We're all going to do it.
Yeah.
There's people will say, like, I don't watch this anymore because of this minor little issue.
Sure.
But you eventually, especially if your team all of a sudden gets good, you're like, well, I forgot, but that was years ago. I don't remember.
Once they kick it off in week 1, I mean, again, we're already talking about football. We're trying to decide if Alex Gritch should still have a job. So we're slowly moving into the things we talk about during college football season.
Okay, now to the big team that was in there, Notre Dame. The big story, Sam Hartman transfers in from Wake Forest. I am, and if you've watched this at all, huge Sam Hartman guy.
Okay.
Because I watched him dismantle my beloved Knowles. And even in games that were close, I was just like, just don't give him the ball in the fourth. Like, can you find a way to, like, speed up time?
Yeah.
So that he doesn't get the ball in the fourth quarter. Because even when he doesn't score, here's the thing that Notre Dame fans are going to like about Sam Hartman, that they don't even know they're going to like. Because what you want in your head is 30 touchdown passes and,
right.
All these big plays. And he's going to make some of those. What you're going to appreciate about him, and then you're going to, like, put it on the quarterbacks after him, is that, hey, with 3.5 minutes left, when he needed to get one first down so that they could, at worst, give the other team the ball back with 40 seconds left, he gets it.
Sure, yeah.
He gets that first down.
Yeah.
Like, those are the little things that he does. Like, oh, hey, at the end of the half, like, just runs the clock out. Like,
right.
They're not going to score, but now you're not going to let this, like, say Clemson's offense get back on the field and have a 4-play drive that takes 9 seconds and score a touchdown that's flipped the game.
Yeah.
He just gets the first down, and then Dabo goes into the locker room angry. Like, he's the quarterback who makes you do that.
Yeah,
he's not Caleb Williams, but he's so efficient it hurts.
Yeah, he's got, I can't think of a better word for it than gravitas. Like, he's just got a gravitas about him. Mm-hmm. You could call it football IQ. You could call it awareness. But, yeah, he's got that thing that where you're in that situation, you're kind of like, okay, Sam's got us, like you're talking about. He's not going to do something. He may not be super electric, though he probably could be. But he's absolutely not. He's going to play smart, play well, and get us a win.
Yeah, and I think you saw that if you watch Notre Dame and Navy. Now, look, Navy this is not the best Navy team. Ryan Newberry, their new coach, like, again, not the best Navy team you're going to see.
When are we going to do that segment? Best Navy teams.
Oh, we could. Roger Staubach.
We have to go back.
I mean, we got to talk about Roger Staubach. We got Keenan Reynolds.
Okay, you're right.
I interviewed him at a Super Bowl once, and immediately was like, "What company are you going to find when you get out of military service? I would like to work for you. Like, you are.
Yeah. What Fortune 500
I don't even want to say
company.
like work for me. I'm like, I would like you to be my boss.
Sure. Yeah.
You can. I don't have the leadership capacity that you do, Keenan. I would like you to be my boss.
You grasp the triple option, I'll go work for you.
Yeah, exactly. Again, there we go.
There we go.
We should have a bell.
If we're saying triple option a lot outside of referencing the show, something's wrong.
No, but there are things to take away from that game. Notre Dame ran it very efficiently. Sam Hartman was very efficient. They ran the ball really well. And I remember watching the first quarter, and Notre Dame, I think, took the first drive 8 minutes, which is totally Navy's game. It's totally what they do.
Yeah.
And then so if you can take Navy and beat them at their game for a little bit, and then you can get over the top on them, then you really put them behind the 8 ball. That was just a very efficient game the way it should have played out.
Yeah.
Notre Dame needs a lot of those this year because their schedule's going to get harder before it gets easy. Well, I say that. They play Tennessee Tech this week. But it's going to get harder down the line where being able to do both those things and be super efficient is going to help them because while Sam Hartman is, I believe, a super senior or fifth-year senior, he has true freshmen at the skill positions all around him and people taking over. But I came away impressed that Notre Dame went out. Marcus Freeman did exactly what you're supposed to do to Navy. 1-0 in Dublin. Now they're coming back to play Tennessee Tech, which maybe whenever that is. So they were efficient and did everything they needed to do. So you mentioned freshman at the skill position. Jaden Greathouse from Westlake had a couple of touchdowns. Yes.
That kid just goes places and wins. He's just good everywhere he is. Last year at this time, Notre Dame started 0-2 last year.
Yeah.
Was the bloom off the rose for Marcus Freeman at all, or did he get a grace period? Because it seems to be back, right?
I don't think he got a grace period because it was a lot of Brian Kelly would have never done this, which actually he had his times at people forget. He had his rough times at Notre Dame, and the kind of beauty of what Brian Kelly did there, outside of apparently pissing Joe Montana off, which we found out about this weekend.
Okay, tell me more.
Yeah, but outside of that was he actually did reinvent what he was doing.
Yeah.
And had he not done that, he would not have been at Notre Dame anymore, and he wouldn't be at LSU right now.
Yeah.
But he reinvented what he was doing and said, okay, we're going to do it this way. And so all of a sudden Notre Dame fans forgot about all those struggles they had and then went through and they were
Yeah.
But so Marcus Freeman probably got you guys lost to Marshall, you lost this one.
Yeah.
And then I think by the end of the year, when they stabilized at quarterback a little bit,
yeah.
even though they lost Tyler Buckner, like once they kind of stabilized and went through it, people were kind of back on because he's so energetic and young, and he is the like when you look at the coach of the next 20 years, the coaches of that,
yeah.
Marcus Freeman's the avatar for that. Like coaches are going to have to be like him and understand things that he gets that maybe the old school guys don't anymore.
Yeah, Freeman is the reason I drink the Kool-Aid on him a little bit, being obviously not fluent in Notre Dame football, right? I don't know all the ins and outs. But Freeman he's dynamic. He's clearly a good coach. Like he's a good X's and O's guy. Sometimes guys like him get pegged as culture guys or, energy guys, but he's good across the board. And so I think them going out and beating Navy like that doesn't do anything but affirm this is the right guy for this job. And you're right. They're going to be good this year, and it could be for the next 2 decades.
Yeah, but like I said, I think of the coaches, the young, like Lincoln Riley, avatar of the coach of the future.
Yeah.
Marcus Freeman, the guys who have the grasp, but Mike Norvell, really, really does.
Yeah.
Kirby Smart really does. They have their handle on everything that is presented towards the modern college athlete.
Yeah.
That they can kind of answer all those questions.
Yeah.
Because it's, it might be Dion, really, honestly.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask that.
Yeah.
Is there is there somebody who's not making those adjustments?
Well,
Is it
I think
clear?
there are coaches that are doing it kind of against their will, but they're riding the wave, like Mike Gundy,
would you
Dana
say it about
Holgorsen.
Saban? Is Saban in that class, or is he?
No, I think, look, Saban will ride the wave out until he's retired.
Sure,
he has nothing else to prove to anyone, but maybe himself. Like, honestly, this is right at this point. It's like just for you being satisfied with your career and being able to put a bow on it because he can do whatever he wants. He's adjusted well. Now, he's fought some things because he didn't want them, but when they make the rules, the thing I've always thought about this brilliant about Saban is like, okay, you guys know that like I can do this too, right?
Yeah.
So you're giving me like we all have this power.
Yeah.
But I in particular do. So you're going to give it to me here where I have everything at my disposal and expect me not to win a lot.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's kind of like, you guys are making this easier for me.
Yeah.
And he's always been very, I think, clever about the way he puts those things. And
still is. I think, again, in light of what Kirby Smart's done the last couple of years, probably if you don't really think about it, you think, oh man, maybe he's regressing, maybe he's not changing with the times. When the reality is, he probably is. It's just that Kirby Smart, again, is that avatar.
Well, and he's younger, and he knows everything that Saban does because they work together for so long. So he's taken this and then built upon it to where they might be moving at almost similar speeds, but Kirby Smart is right out there in front because he's younger and faster. Now, like Dabo Swinney, I don't think has as much patience for the new era. Mike Gundy, Dana Holgorsen. Heck, we had Chris Pesman from Houston on, and he even made a joke about when Dana gets tired of NIL and the transfer portal, am I going to have to hire a new coach anyway?
Sure, yeah.
But I mean, and it was a joke. But I mean, there is something to that where Dana's a little old school, and that's fine. But if you don't want to do it, the good news for coaches is not like they have to stay in it because they're making $50,000 a year and need to make ends meet.
Sure, yeah.
And, unless you've just blown all your money on candy,
There's a golden parachute waiting for you for sure.
You're fine.
Yeah.
So you can Dabo Swinney could leave tomorrow. Mike Gundy could leave tomorrow if they're just overwhelmed with the state of modern college football, which is overwhelming to a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
If they just want to go, then they're fine.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good part about it.